As much as Mrs. Okupa, a pregnant lady in a clinic, kudos, kudos. Let's do that. But then let's also go to the German national's house and take him out of that house and say this is South Africa for South Africans. That is my problem with the Dudula or the Dudula operation. That it's one-sided. Very, very much one-sided.
We've got an issue of powder that is being brought here by the Nigerians. By the way, Nigerians are a problem in the entire world, not only in South Africa.
There's no country with a record of South Africans coming there to commit heinous crimes where their own people are losing lives.
You know, right now, I don't know why we even have to be having an engagement about Damakwerekwere when the whole world over is revolting around illegal immigration. So what are you going to tell the people of Canada, the people in the UK who are having a large protest just recently about illegal immigration? What are you going to tell them, that they are racist? What are you going to tell them, that the people that are there just want education? When they're simply saying the immigrants are bringing problems to their country, when they are saying they don't want to share their country with immigrants, when they are saying immigrants are bringing crime, when they are saying immigrants are there to destroy their infrastructure, what are you going to engage them on? You're going to tell them about Ubuntu and that certain people want education. Are you going to engage the lady who lost a 6-year-old to a Mozambican who raped and unalived her child, that she should forgive on the basis of Ubuntu, and that Gore was here for education? Are you going to engage the parents of the children that died due to poisonous foods in Soweto? You're going to engage them on Ubuntu. You're going to engage the families of the 8 women who lost their children at the hands of a Zimbabwean national who was raping and unaliving them. The people of Merimis Kwanta camp, whose families who were guarding their what's the word? Their community at night, who were patrolling their community to assure the safety of their people. You're gonna go and tell those people you're gonna engage them on the basis of Ubuntu. You know, when you sit there with your English, may you maybe use that English to engage on the basis that South Africans are also feeling the brunt of a corrupt government. And who on stage has engaged you that these people are not a South African problem. They're not a South African government issue. They're not a South African taxpayer problem. These people have states that are accountable for them. The people of Uganda should be accounted for by the government of Uganda. The people of Zimbabwe should be accounted for by the government of Zimbabwe, which is the ZANU PF. The people of Mozambique should be accounted for by Frelimo, and so on and so on. Why is it that when it comes to South Africa, we should be engaging on people who are not supposed to be here, who are not accounted for by the taxpayers of this country? How often do you find South Africans going to Nigeria or going to Zimbabwe to seek healthcare there? You are telling us about gender-based violence being perpetrated by South Africans. Who should be perpetrating it? Who should be committing it? Shouldn't it be South Africans because they are in South Africa? You're now going to go and tell us that amajele agcwele ngama-South Africans. No, because we are in South Africa. Ucabanga ukuthi amajele aseMozambique agcwele ngobani? Amajele aseNigeria agcwele ngobani? Amajele aseBotswana agcwele ngobani? Obviously, it will be the citizens of that country. But you are finding in South Africa there is over 22,000 kwerekweres in our jails being accounted for by the South African taxpayer. Do you know how much we're paying feeding these people on a daily basis, on a yearly basis? Uzela ngesilungu sakho sokunuka uzosihlanyela la ekseni. And let me tell you, you can come and defend these people on this platform day and night. When they come for you, they're not going to ask you, do you defend us on TikTok? Are you a Pan-Africanist? They're going to hijack you and gun you down. They're going to kidnap your children and rape them. They're not going to ask your children, which is your dad, a Pan-Africanist or an EFF member. Amakwere don't care. They see you as a business. How often do you see abantwana bamakwerekwere trending on social media for going missing? Bayalahleka abantwana bamakwerekwere. Do you see them on these social medias being posted ukuthi they are missing? Or is it South African children that are missing? Coming here talking nonsense. Will you go to the families right now who are in pain and agony, given dates for 2028 and 2027? Uzala uzokhuluma rubbish wena. Uzala uzokhuluma nonsense. Ungazospora wena ngalesilungu sakho talking about white people, but you want to sound like them right now. I actually thought you in Britain manje mina. Kanti ula eSouth Africa. Uzonda belungu mara uthenga isilungu sabo ukudlula bona. I fuck you wena man.
I see you are angry. I hear you. No problem. Makosa, you can come in.
Hosea, how are you, my man?
I'm alright, and how are you?
I'm good, my brother. I've been listening,
We are always
and I was
fighting on this platform.
hey,
Every day it's fight.
black people. I cannot say it better than what the Dudula Queen has said when I was here. And many people at this, what you call it, diagnosing this problem so badly. They are using principles of Christianity when they are arguing this issue of foreign nationals and South Africa. The facts are there. South Africans opened doors for foreign nationals, for Africans to come in because of the instability in their countries. They came in, they formed syndicates, they are doing all sorts of evil stuff in South Africa. They are doing crime, they're coming illegally, they're doing all sorts of nonsenses. And South Africans are here and they are watching the countries being taken away from them. Black South Africans, male and female, are being excluded from the job opportunities. The white people who have the power economically, they're actually choosing to use the foreign nationals. And they are forming against South Africans. You get a Zimbabwean into a restaurant, get South Africans fired, they bring all their sisters and brothers. It's chaotic. And no one says anything about this. These are facts. These are not faith-based positions that we are arguing. These are facts that there are criminal syndicates who are coming in South Africa not to look for greener pastures, but to commit crime. They're looking at the constitution. They're taking advantage of, the South Africans and our laws and policies, and they're doing all evil stuff. We've got an issue of powder that is being brought here by the Nigerians. By the way, Nigerians are a problem in the entire world, not only in South Africa. And for someone to actually defend them, saying that no crime has been here, powder has been sold, that's not the basis. The police compile a report of these criminal syndicates. They compile a report of who's doing what in this country. There are crimes that were not there back in the days. They only came in when certain group of people came in South Africa, slitting someone's throat, for instance, doing all sort of, abducting, taking people, taking children. All these nonsenses were not there back in the days. And the stats from the SAPS, the investigators, they know what they are dealing with. And we are not just arguing this baselessly from the air. We've got tangible evidence that is being produced from the investigations that are being conducted and the discoveries of these criminal elements. All we're saying is South Africans cannot breathe. We've got an issue of influx. Foreign nationals who are infiltrating South Africa so bad that even when you have welcomed the visitor, you get to a point where you say, enough is enough now. Enough is enough. Yes, we would like to live in harmony with our brothers and sisters, but we can only live in harmony with people who are not going to bring problems. We've got an issue of government in South Africa that has failed to liberate black people. By the way, I understand why Nelson Mandela rushed into CODESA and have negotiations, because he knew that he was not only fighting the white government, he was also fighting the black people who refused to liberate the black masses. And we see those people in cabinet. And that is why the NC has not done anything, because the NC was infiltrated by organs of black people who went on the side and took everything, any plans, strategies, anything. They got it to the apartheid government. They told, hey, these people are planning this and that and that. Spies. That is what we were dealing with. That is why Mandela said, I'm not going to win this fight. It's impossible for South Africa to be liberated if we've got enemies within. So that is why he came up with that saying, I fought against the black domination and against the white domination, because he understood that the problem is not longer a white person, but the problem is black people. And the foreign nationals are a problem in South Africa. Take it or leave it. You need to look it at all directions. Don't use the principles of pastoring and being in a church and talking to congregants, but take the facts. Take what is happening in South Africa. And I'm telling you one thing, the minute they kick you out of your job and they replace you with a foreign national, you understand. You will understand. You will understand. There are doctors who are foreign nationals who are Nigerians. There are engineers who are foreign nationals who are Malawians who are coming in South Africa. They've got passports, they've got documentation. They're coming here to contribute. Well enough, it's fine, it's okay. That's good. But we've got other people who can get even documents to come in, but they came with ill intentions of taking South Africa. You have watching in Parliament when some of these, education institutions, they have employed foreign nationals in positions that are actually supposed to be reserved for South Africans. And you ask yourself, what is happening here? Are not South Africans being excluded? They are bringing foreign nationals in Cape Town, in the Western Cape. The Western Cape is filled of foreign nationals who are coming from Europe. And then you think that is, it's traveling, it's tourism. No. They are replacing this, harmonious, nation that have been built by black South Africans. Through sweat. We have fought for the liberation of this country. We have fought for the freedom. We have fought for 1994. We fought for this country. We are not saying they must not come, but what we're saying, hey, you are in numbers. You cannot have 5, 6 of your family members living elsewhere in another country. Who's going to contribute in your own state? If 7 of your family members in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, who's going to build Zimbabwe? And they're parading around on Facebook and selling fake cars and doing all sorts of evil stuff. And people, they still think that, these people are here for greener pastures. That's nonsense.
Okay, you can come in, bro.
My apologies if it seemed like I was attacking the old lady. She's probably old enough to be my mother, so I do apologize if I was coming off like I am attacking. I would rather not attack her, but attack the argument, right? That's why I do not dispute that anything on stage says, because he says your argument is flawed. It doesn't say I am flawed, which I completely understand that, right? And then talking back, it's very funny when I speak of nationalism, no one talks about that. When I speak about attacking the corporations, the only person who spoke and addressed that was umXhosa or maXhosa. Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. And that's the problem I have with this movement, right? I mentioned Ubuntu, and I still do. I still feel like we lost Ubuntu betu, right? I mentioned Ubuntu, and everyone based their whole argument around Ubuntu, right? And no one talked about nationalism. I asked, and my answer, I still haven't gotten an answer. I still haven't gotten anything. Like, no one has come to me and said, no, we are not nationalists. no, we are patriotic because of this, because of that, because of this, right? But rather you'll say, ha, ubuntu bububanga, because these people are doing this and that and that. I love the fact that Makosa talked about it's not only African foreigners. I completely agree, right? Gentrification is a massive problem everywhere, right? I agree with him 100%, right? What I do not agree with is people practicing what they do not preach, right? So as much as we are preaching, but these foreigners must leave, then tell the Germans that are buying houses in Camps Bay to leave too, right? Tell the Europeans that are buying houses here and lifting the rent for normal citizens of South Africa. Half of South Africans cannot afford to live within Cape Town because of foreigners. I'm not talking about black foreigners. Now I'm talking about white foreigners. Why don't we give out the same energy to the German nationals? Rent in Cape Town for a studio apartment that doesn't have windows in Woodstock is 10,000 rand. 10,000 rand is absurd, right? So let that be the same energy. Let's keep the same energy. As much as Sizo Cooper, a pregnant lady in a clinic, kudos. Kudos. Let's do that. But then let's also go to the German national's house and take him out of that house and say this is South Africa for South Africans. That is my problem with the Dudula or the Dudula operation. That it's one-sided. Very, very much one-sided. Right? And as I mentioned, I am not advocating for anything illegal. And OnStage mentioned that I'm changing my goalposts. No, this is a counter argument to every argument that you guys have made. And not one have made an actual counter argument to the counter arguments that I have given to all of you. You mentioned that my argument is flawed when I bring up Nazi Germany. The whole basis of Nazi Germany was nationalism. Germany for Germans. How is that flawed? That's what you're saying, essentially. South Africa for South Africans. Yes, I might be a bit extremist by giving those comparisons. 100%. Mabuso said that why do not let them in my house? That is downplaying how big the scenario is. Like 14 million Zimbabweans are gonna fit in my house. Crazy. That's you see, so you call out something else and make the exact same explanation that I was making, and then you're just gonna downplay it. So that's my thing. Let's keep the same energy across the board. If we're gonna take out patients at the hospital, let's go take out the Germans in Cape Town. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And that I conclude with that.
Man, no problem, no problem. Yeah. We hear you. Family members, your network is acting up, bro. Your network is acting up. It keeps dropping you. It keeps dropping you. So off stage, you can come in, man. You can come in. We are closing just before or after 1. So off stage, you can come in. What can you say?
Yeah, so there is a lot of dishonesty with this young man here, which is sad. Because you can't be, again, his comparison is very, very much flawed. And we always unpack these things. He come back, he says we did not unpack these things. We did not respond to what he said. He's victimizing himself. When you say there's a problem in Cape Town of maybe you draw a racial line, maybe migrants from Europe, which are likely to be Mzungus or USA, they come in there and buying houses. If there's a problem there, because Dudula doesn't have much presence there, I believe that people can either create a Dudula there or start their platform, because Dudula was born out of the communities, addressing what they are faced in their communities. It was out of immediate threat in the community. So it happens that Dudula was born out of the places where there's a certain group of migrants that are creating problems there. These are not people from Cape Town. Totally different areas. And then, if I remember correctly, for migrants to buy houses in Cape Town, it's not illegal, unless if I don't know, unless if there's something I need to be educated on about our constitution. Buying a house by migrants in Cape Town is not illegal. What we can maybe say is that the gentrification is taking place. People from powerful countries with more advanced economy and strong currencies are coming there, taking advantage of the fact that we have got first come and first seller, first buyer, something like that. Foreigners can actually buy land properties in South Africa. So we can maybe revisit our constitution and address them. But that's likely to be a problem of middle class as well. Why are not people who are affected by this issue in Cape Town speaking like people who are affected by the communities of other migrants? Why do you have to come and interrupt people in other areas when they tell you that we have got this problem here? Migrants are not eligible to go use our public institutions, public healthcare, unless during emergency. And even with the emergency, it's not those who follow the laws. It's still regulated. Not everything it's emergency, or it passes to be an emergency. And then what we are experiencing now in the communities is that there's influx. The numbers of migrants or the numbers of people using the public healthcare don't make sense at all. This is the situation. Why do you have to come in and impose yourself and start to say, no, go fight that battle, go do that? No, you don't need to do that. Buying a property in Cape Town, which, by the way, there are other African people buying properties there. Why don't you mention that? Why you make it a racial thing? Because there's African foreigners, in particular, most African politicians, they are buying houses in Cape Town. Do you see how flawed your submission is? Do you see how much you're pushing your own propaganda? It's so pathetic, so sad, and so desperate that you even you're drawing parallel lines with the Nazi Germany and stuff like that. We can also visit history and show you other kingdoms or nations or empires that crumbled because they were invaded by foreigners. Countless of them. And the major one in the Roman Empire, one of the longest standing empire in history of empires. They crumbled because of allowing intrusion of barbarians from the north. You're not going to give an example of that because that doesn't go well with the propaganda that is being pushed here. We have to be told about nationalism. I don't even think you understand what is nationalism. If I ask you what is the major difference between nationalism and patriotism, most people can barely answer that. But no, we have to go back and find these woke words, this woke culture that we see. And then people pick and choose words they want to use and run with them. The Dudulas and the people that are standing on the business of protecting our country, they are patriots. And even if you can say they are nationalists, that's up to you. What matters here is that we secure our country, we make our country livable for people of South Africa. How we do that, for most of us, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about securing the safety of our people in their country. And anybody out there, I urge anyone in their own countries to do the same. I'm not even biased. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm saying, look, Zimbabweans need to put themselves in Zimbabwe, regardless of how you feel about it. We are always told that, no, Cape Town, the Muzungus. When last did you see Muzungu people who are foreigners queuing on the line where the poor of our poorest are supposed to get these social services and they have to compete with the Muzungus or the Asian migrants? When have you seen that? Why do we have to compare things that cannot be compared? I asked again on my submission, which you said not. I asked, why don't you tell most migrants in South Africa, who happens to be most Africans who come from failed countries, why you never tell them to fight their own government? I mean, if you can just hold them accountable, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. The same way we are in our country holding our own government responsible, they can do that. Unless you have concluded that you are better than other Africans. You have concluded that black South Africans are superior and better than them. We are the bourgeoisies of Africa, the buffer class. We're the ones who can confront the government. Other Africans are pathetic, they are losers, they are weak, they need to be coddled, they need to always be protected like victims. By allowing them to be cowards who flee their countries and be nursed and be pampered by other nations and our resources, even at the expense of our people. You are saying these people are so weak, so pathetic that they cannot face their government because you're not applying the same standards with them. You treat them with gloves. You don't even mention their government. You don't even confront the root of the problem here, which is not South Africa, because we wouldn't be having these people coming here. Clearly, you don't want to confront the problem because you have got your own agenda. And the agenda here is that beat the black South Africans to submission. Make sure that you suppress their voices. You know, reduce their struggles and what they're standing for to almost nothing. Draw unnecessary parallel comparisons that don't even make sense. At the end of the day, if you cannot tell black South Africans to face the big corporate and the government without sounding like a hypocrite. The moment you say that you're going to sound like a hypocrite, because in defense, you are defending people who couldn't even account to hold their own governments accountable. You say nothing about that. And you're still going to say nothing about that even if Ozia gives you an 1 hour to submit. You will make excuses for them why they failed to hold their own government accountable. We know that. But you wouldn't want to talk about it because you have got a double standard. If you really are South African, as many claim, right? You really have got self-hate because you cannot continue to tell black South Africans that, no, go face the corporate. Then what are other people fleeing their countries they fleeing from? Why don't you tell them, like, look, if you face your problem, black South Africans wouldn't even be having this conversation about you. If we were getting rich Africans the same way we're getting rich Europeans who live in areas where they help our economy, skills, you know, the system is there. We set up a system that can accommodate you if you follow the rule of law. We having a problem because mostly it's them breaking our law. Don't want to talk about that. Thanks, Rosie. I'll pack it there, man.
No problem. Off stage, come in. I see on stage is gone. Now off stage is back.
Yeah, now my brother took a break, so I had to cover for him. Rasta, oh yeah, this is too much time. I think I will give the remaining minutes to my boss, so he can through your permission, chair. Look, Rasta, I just want to talk on the nationalist topic. You see, the problem is this: people use Hitler to define nationalism. And that for me is the biggest flawed within my brother's argument. Nationalism, the reason why that concept of nationalism is popular, it's because of what Hitler did. But that's not the actual definition of nationalism. You are taking the extreme definition of nationalism so that we would actually think that nationalism is bad. But I can tell you countries that are nationalists today. The first one is India. India is nationalist in their approach. They define themselves as nationalist, but they're not doing anything bad to anyone. They just love their country, they preserve their culture and everything. So you're going to take Hitler and use that as the prime definition of nationalism, which of course your argument, if nationalism is what Hitler did, you are right, but that is a wrong premise on what nationalism is. It's very wrong. We have three types of nationalism. The first one is ethnic nationalism, the second one is civic nationalism, the third one is anti-colonial nationalism. So do not use Hitler as a standard for nationalism, please. Do not. Hitler is not the standard. Nationalism is not bad. It's not. It's just that the version that was presented by Hitler, he is horrible. So even if you can call us as nationalists, but we are not presenting the version that Hitler actually presented. So we are vindicated if you are using Hitler as your standard. Thank you, Rasta. Thank you for hosting me. My boss, so you can take the remaining minutes. Thank you.
No, thanks, brother. And you just made a good example there. And one, you recognize the sovereignty of your country and the survival of your country. That just means you put one's group first. So you're not going to sacrifice and compromise your people at the expense of others. Now, nationalism is something that maybe one believes that his country is superior to other countries. Pray for South Africa and nowhere else. God protect South Africa and nobody else. My country is better than everybody else's country. Nationalism sometimes take those kind of stands. My culture over your culture. My culture have to annihilate your culture. What we are doing is patriotism. We are concerned about the interest of our own country, the protection of our country, which you are playing around with words to put.
Is it me?
No problem. Maboso, I
Is
think it's
he
Maboso.
is he using Starlink? Ufikile Elon Musk.
Oh no, he's back. He's back.
No, he's
To put
using Starlink. I
your,
can
your,
see
your
him.
certain agenda. But it's fine. I mean, democracy, you have got a right to do that. But
We need to donate for him to
man,
buy him
stop it,
and
Ozzy. Stop it. Okay. Anyway, I think Ozzy, you can. Okay, guys, no, I'm not
It's
using
your
MTN now.
network. It's not me, man. It's your network. What did I do?
Yeah, but I can. Okay, it's fine, man. Let me just finish, man.
Yeah, go finish up. You have your 4 minutes back. No problem. Take 4 minutes.
Yes,
No
but,
problem.
Lord. Yeah. So, man, look, man, my time is gone. But anyway, all right.
I
Thanks, Ozzy.
talk. I gave
I
you
was
5
saying, man,
minutes. No issue.
this thing. All right. So what Young Fame has been doing here is to try to derail our movement. This is a propagandist, by the way, because you are very very picky in going back in history and pick what favors you. Hosea. As I said earlier on, we can always go back in history and show the danger of migrants as well. How they end up taking the sovereignty of one nation and render it into total chaos. I even gave an example with one of the greatest empire throughout history, like Rome. Rome collapsed when they started to lose control of migrants that were flocking and living within the borders of the empire. So, as much as you want to make it sound like migrants are these harmonious people who are innocent, who are victims, actually, many empires fell because of the migrants. Because migrants, most of the times, especially if they fail to integrate, which is what is happening in South Africa, they come with their own values. And most of these values actually are not progressive. You can even see today what is happening in places that used to be safe and great, such as Great Britain. We can see the crime level in America as compared to before. And then the countries that are rising even more and more and becoming much better, they are very, very homogeneous. Countries like China, the likes of Russia, you know, you have to understand how bad the situation is in South Africa regarding migrants. And this thing of trying to come here and draw parallel comparisons that don't make sense. You couldn't even explain how you're comparing Dudula and saying they are nationalist. You couldn't even give us a specific example to say this is the extreme nationalism that we're looking at here. What we are doing, acting more on patriotism, the need for one to protect their own sovereignty and their nation, the love of one's country. And we're not going to try to be the liberal of this world, the leftist of this world, where we live in an ideology and ignore a threat to our nation. The fact that you cannot even speak to South Africans who have lost their lives in the hands of migrants, you don't care about it. You could care less. And mind you, in reality, if these people were never in this country, that means those South Africans who have lost could be alive today. Our people will be living today. You understand how bad this situation is? And on the opposite, you cannot name me one country that is struggling with South African crime other than South Africa. There is no country that South Africans are imposing their criminality, going there to unalive people. There's no country with the record of South Africans coming there to commit heinous crimes where their own people are losing lives. We only asking the world to treat us the same way we're treating the whole world. And if that's too much to ask for people like you, we don't have time to prove to you anything. We are moving forward with what matters to us. What matters to us is to not look like we are humanitarian or we are doing the right things to the eyes of the world. What matters to us is to stop the unaliving of our people in our country. Our people not feeling safe in their communities anymore because of the extended imported crime. If we can reduce the foreign crime in our country and deal only with our crimes, we will save a lot of lives. Just like any country wants to deal with their own crime. Why? Because they want to save their people. You cannot import crime to add on the existing crime of one's nation. That's just going to be imposing a terror on your own people. You have to protect your own people. That's patriotism. If that's nationalism to you, then middle finger. I don't know what to do today. We have to always consider the fact that we are losing our people that shouldn't have been lost in the hands of imposed migration into our sovereignty. This is so dangerous that people are having their cars spiked on the way. The infrastructure has been crumbling and they're looting even the infrastructure. We want to have only our criminals. If we're going to have people imposing spikes on our road, let it be our criminals alone. Don't add to that. If there's anyone who's going to steal our infrastructure, let it be on our own. Don't add to that. And the countries that we have established that they're adding problem to us, whether they are Asian, African, Europe, it doesn't matter. We're going to target them. We're going to make sure that, hey, we see your people having a pattern here of crime. We might as well as cut ties with you until you deal with this problem. Because we're not sending our criminals to you. Why should we handle you with gloves while you're not taking responsibility of your people? By keeping them in your country. Keep your criminals in your country. That's it. Thanks, off stage. You're the one who gave me that time. Hosea wouldn't have given me that time. So thank you, off stage. You always a brother in need, unlike Hosea. And I'll be dropping, man. And thanks, off stage, again for welcoming me very well on this panel and giving me an additional time. Tinubu, King Tinubu, the Nigerians are waiting for you there to come and rule them, my brother. So I take it. I don't recognize any patriot other than the ones on the panel. I think Ntebe is an EFF, so I won't be saluting him. I think Young and Fame needs some rescuing. The brother needs some help if he's really a South African. But let's wait until the day the Zimbos cut the tires of his car and do what they do most. And then maybe might change his life if he survives. They're probably going to cut his throat anyway. But if he survives the day they come for him, well, he will have an interesting story to tell all of us. But take care, my patriot. I love you, South Africans. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ozzy.